Everyone, welcome to this video on project manager interview questions around large IT projects. This video is part of a series on software project manager interview questions. In this section, we'll explore 10 common questions often asked in project management interviews, along with structured answers and explanations. Let's get started. The first question: how do you manage dependencies in large IT projects? For this, you can use the STAR method. Situation: in a recent enterprise level project, managing multiple interdependent modules was a significant challenge. My goal was to effectively manage and coordinate dependencies to avoid project delays. I developed a detailed dependency map and integrated it into the project plan. Regular cross-team meetings were held to ensure alignment and timely resolution of dependency-related issues. Result: this proactive approach ensured smooth progress, and we successfully met all our major milestones on schedule. Now let's break down what the interviewer is looking for. Understanding of dependency mapping and tracking. Mention tools and techniques such as dependency maps and risks assessments. Proactive management. Explain how you anticipate and resolve dependency issues before they become blockers. Cross-team collaboration. Highlight your ability to coordinate across teams to maintain alignment. Be sure to include keywords such as dependency mapping, critical path analysis, risk management, cross-team collaboration, and proactive issue resolution. Variations of this question might include: how do you handle external dependencies that impact your project? What tools do you use to track dependencies? How do you escalate and resolve dependency conflicts? Moving on. Can you describe your experience with managing integrations in a complex IT project? Here could be your response. While leading a project that involved integrating multiple software systems, complexities arose due to different technologies. My objective was to manage these integrations without compromising the project timeline or performance. Action: I coordinated closely with the technical leads to understand integration points, set up a dedicated integration testing phase, and ensured thorough documentation for each integration. This led to seamless integrations with minimal issues post-deployment, enhancing overall system efficiency. Now let's look at what the interviewer is looking for. Experience managing system integrations and handling technical complexities. Approach to interoperability issues. Demonstrate how you work across different technologies. Testing strategies. Explain how you ensure seamless integrations without downtime. Use keywords such as API integrations, middleware, data consistency, integration testing, cross-functional collaboration, rollback strategy, and change management. Possible variations may include: what challenges have you faced in system integration and how did you overcome them? How do you ensure performance is not impacted post-integration? How do you document integrations for future scalability? Now let's tackle the third question. How do you handle stakeholder management in large-scale projects? Using the STAR framework. Situation: in a high-stakes project, I dealt with a diverse group of stakeholders, each with different expectations. My goal was to effectively manage stakeholder expectations and maintain project alignment. Action: I established a clear communication plan, conducted regular stakeholder meetings, and provided transparent updates on project progress and challenges. Result: this approach maintained stakeholder trust and satisfaction, leading to strong support throughout the project lifecycle. What the interviewer looking for? Communication strategies for diverse stakeholders. Show how you tailor messages for different groups. Managing expectations and conflicting priorities. Explain your approach to resolving conflicting requirements. Transparent and engagement methods. Highlight techniques for keeping stakeholders informed. Include keywords like stakeholder mapping, communication plan, expectation management, stakeholder buy-in, conflict resolution, transparency, and governance model. Let's move on to the next question. Describe a time when you had to manage a project with numerous cross-team dependencies. Here is a structured response. A project I managed involved multiple teams whose work was highly interdependent. My objective was to coordinate these teams effectively and ensure timely project delivery. Action: I organized joint planning sessions and established a central coordination hub for managing dependencies and addressed bottlenecks promptly. This fostered a better team collaboration, and we successfully completed the project 15% faster than anticipated. What the interviewer is looking for: ability to coordinate multiple teams and ensure alignment. Explain your cross-team communication approach. Strategies for handling bottlenecks and risks. Discuss risk mitigation techniques. Communication and tracking mechanisms. Mention tools or practices you use for transparency. Key terms to include are cross-functional collaboration, dependency resolution, agile ceremonies, program-level coordination, risk management, and governance frameworks. Let's look at the next question. How do you approach risk management in large IT projects? Again, using the STAR method, managing risks was a key responsibility in a large IT infrastructure project. My objective was to identify, assess, and mitigate risks effectively. I established a risk management framework, conducted regular risk assessments, and developed contingency plans. I also involved key stakeholders in the risk management process. This comprehensive approach minimized project risks, and we were able to handle unforeseen issues swiftly without major impacts on the project. What the interviewer is looking for: structured risk management approach, cover identification, assessment, and mitigation. Proactive and reactive risk handling, explain how you address risks before and after they materialize. Escalation and contingency plan, discuss how you manage severe risks. Keyword to include are risk register, risk assessment matrix, mitigation plans, contingency planning, probability versus impact analysis, proactive monitoring. Moving on to the next question. Can you explain how you manage project scope in a large IT project? Here's the STAR-based response. In a previous project, there was a constant risk of scope creep due to evolving requirements. My goal was to manage and control the project scope effectively. I implemented strict scope management processes involving regular scope reviews and approval procedures for any changes. Clear communication of scope boundaries was maintained with all the stakeholders. This approach prevented scope creep, and the project was delivered within the original parameters agreed upon. So what the interviewer is looking for: strategies for handling scope. Explain how you track changes and prevent uncontrolled expansions. Change management process. Describe approval workflows and governance structures. Communication of scope decisions. Highlight how you ensure alignment among all stakeholders. Be sure to include keywords like scope baseline, change control process, requirement traceability, stakeholder alignment in agile scope management. Moving on. Describe your strategy for ensuring on-time delivery in a complex project with multiple integration points. Here's an example response. I led a project that involved complex integrations across various software platforms. My objective was to ensure on-time delivery despite the complexities. I prioritized integration tasks, set up an early integration testing phase, and closely monitored the progress of these tasks. Regular sync-ups with all teams involved were conducted. Result: we were able to identify and resolve integration issues early, leading to the project being delivered on schedule. So what is the interviewer looking for? Planning techniques to manage delivery timelines. Discuss how you ensure realistic scheduling. Strategies to minimize integration delays. Explain risk management around technical dependencies. Prioritization and testing approaches. Mention continuous testing and proactive issue resolution. Include keywords such as milestone planning, early integration testing, CI/CD, dependency resolution, agile sprint planning, and risk-based scheduling. Now let's talk about question 8. How do you ensure effective communication in large project teams? Here's a structured response. Communication was a challenge in a project with over 100 team members. My objective was to establish effective communication channels and ensure that all team members were informed and aligned. I implemented a structured communication plan, including regular all hands meetings, detailed progress reports, and an integral project wiki for information sharing. This approach kept everyone informed and engaged, leading to improved team morale and a collaborative work environment. What is the interviewer looking for? Clear communication strategies. Discuss frameworks for structured updates and reporting, handling communication in distributed and global teams. Explain how you deal with different time zones and cultures. Tools and processes to streamline updates. Mention the use of modern collaboration tools. Be sure to include keywords like communication plan, collaboration tools, all hands meetings, project dashboard, and stakeholder updates. Question 9. Describe a situation where you had to realign a project due to significant changes in stakeholder requirements. Here's how you can structure your answer. Situation. Midway through a project, a key stakeholder requested significant changes that impacted the project scope. My objective was to realign the project without derailing the existing process. I conducted an impact analysis, negotiated timelines and resources, and communicated the changes to all parties involved. I also adjusted the project plan to accommodate these new requirements. Despite the significant changes, the project was successfully realigned and completed with a slight extension in the timeline, but with increased stakeholder satisfaction. So, what the interviewer is looking for? Flexibility in handling changes without disrupting the project. Explain your approach to adapting while maintaining project goals. Strategies for impact analysis and stakeholder management. Discuss how you assess risks and keep stakeholders engaged. Change control process. Describe structured mechanisms for managing evolving requirements. Moving on to the last question. How do you handle conflicting priorities among stakeholders in a large project? Here's the star-based response. During a complex IT project, conflicting priorities among different stakeholders became apparent. My objective was to resolve conflicts and find a middle ground that satisfies all parties. I facilitated a series of negotiation meetings, encouraged open discussion about priorities and constraints. I proposed compromises and adjustments that aligned with the project's main goals. This led to a mutually agreed upon plan, balancing the various priorities and keeping the project on track. So, what's the interviewer looking for? Ability to balance and negotiate competing demands. Explain how you mediate between conflicting interests. Stakeholder engagement techniques. Highlight how you ensure transparency and fairness. Decision making strategies. Describe how you use frameworks like Moscow prioritization or data driven decision making. Be sure to include keywords like stakeholder prioritization, conflict resolution, negotiation skills, data driven making, decision making, Moscow prioritization, and compromise solutions. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more interview preparation content. Stay tuned for the next video in the series.